Packing for a kite trip can be exciting until you run out of space or weight. Over the years, we've come to find a few tips and tricks that have served us well, letting us pack enough gear for a great trip while avoiding any overweight fees or repacking in the airport. The first tip, and probably the most important, is checking the forecast right before your trip. We're talking literally a day or two before you leave. Why? Well, that's when the forecast will be the most accurate, which means you can pack the most appropriate gear and leave behind the gear you're unlikely to use. A good example of this was our trip to Cuba a few years ago. If we'd gone off of hope and statistics, we would have packed our twin tips and our smaller kites. But a couple of days before, the forecast told us it was going to be light, so we ended up bringing a hydrofoil and our larger kites instead. We ended up making the most of the light wind and learning to hydrofoil on that trip. Checking the forecast will also help you pick the right waterwear. Maybe you can get away with a shorty or just a swimsuit, or perhaps a shorty's not going to cut it and maybe you should bring a 3-2 so you actually enjoy your sessions without freezing. If you're flying to your kite destination, weight restrictions will come into play when packing for your trip. You definitely want to look up exactly how much weight the airline allows for carry-on and checked bags. Our recommendation if you're traveling with a group is to be strategic about who brings what. Is your buddy bringing a 12 meter? Maybe you bring a 10 and you can share. Obviously, this won't work for everyone, but we've done it successfully for years and found that it helps cover a wide wind range and maximizes the trip for everyone. I'm not sure how true this is anymore, but it used to be the airlines allowed oversized golf bags without charging additional fees. That's why some of the board bags like ours purposefully have golf written on them somewhere. To be honest though, I think the airlines are charging for everything these days, so I don't know if it makes much of a difference anymore. Alternatively, if you have a split board, you could probably get away with a smaller bag. That being said, split boards are generally more expensive than regular twin tips, so you'd have to weigh the pros versus the cons to see if it makes sense for you. Both of our kite gear bags have wheels. Yes, that does add some weight, but worthwhile in my opinion. I would not want to haul either of these bags through a parking lot in the winter without wheels. One of these little handheld scales is essential to have. You can check your bag weight before you leave and before you come back home. On that note, adequately drying your stuff before you come home helps. Shake out any sand and pack up on the grass if possible. Obviously, the priority is maxing out the kiting on your trip, so it's best to have some wiggle room while packing in case you're coming back with slightly damp stuff. Another tip is to be nice to the airline attendant checking you in. Honestly, we've had some good luck over the years with not getting charged for slightly overweight baggage, and really it all came down to the attendant. It doesn't cost anything to be friendly, and you never know, it could save you a few bucks. Something we haven't done yet, but may do on our next trip is use air tags for our luggage. Our kite gear is precious and expensive, so it's probably a good idea to be able to track it in case it gets lost. We take off all the fins and straps before packing to maximize space in the bag. I have a fabric board cover, but I've also wrapped it in a beach towel. One time, after I had just bought my surfboard, I actually wrapped it in bubble wrap. I don't do that anymore, but I still recommend trying to protect your board in some way, as we've seen boards get damaged in transit. We'll pack foil kites in the fabric bags, but absolutely no backpacks are taking up precious space or weight here. Don't forget to bring the tools needed for your boards. Yuri and I will pack our clothing in our carry-ons, and for our checked bags, we each have one. We also bring our personal item, which is our small camera bag. I'll show you how we pack as a couple, but I'll also cover packing for one in this video. All right, there you have it. Those are our tips and tricks for packing for a kite trip. Let us know if we've missed any in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.